Question 11. Effective listening involves attending to the speaker without distractions, confirming what the speaker says, and taking note of body language. Taking notes, providing feedback, and expressing empathy. Asking opening and closing questions, restating the speaker's statements, and mirroring nonverbal cues. Listening without judgment, summarizing every few sentences, and pointing out body language cues. Answer A is the correct choice. You do not necessarily take notes or express empathy, although the latter might be useful. You do not mirror the speaker's nonverbal cues, nor do you point them out. The best description of effective listening is attending to the speaker without distractions, confirming what the speaker says, and taking note of body language. Question 12. The project has 13 team members and affects more than 15 departments in the organization. Because the project is 20% complete to date, and the team has had successful performance reports from 5 of the affected departments, the project manager holds a party to celebrate. The project manager invites key stakeholders from all of the departments to the party in order to give those providing good reviews an informal opportunity to communicate good things to those departments that have not yet been affected by the project. At the party, the project manager walks around to try to discover any relevant information that would help him make the project even more successful. He happens to hear a manager of one of the departments talking about setting up more regular meetings on the project. The best thing for the project manager to do would be to first record the effectiveness of the party in the project lessons learned, review the information distribution methods on the project, hold a meeting of all the stakeholders to discuss their concerns, make sure the manager has a copy of the communications management plan so he is reminded that such concerns should be sent to the project manager. Answer B is the correct choice. Many of these choices could be done, but ask yourself, what is the most effective thing to do? The party may well generate lessons learned, and recording them will certainly be a good idea, but the question asked what to do first. There is a more immediate issue, the manager. Meeting with all the stakeholders could be useful, but there is only one stakeholder, the manager, who definitely has an issue. Besides, a good project manager would be holding regular meetings with the stakeholders already. Question 13. You have just been assigned to manage a project in the middle of project executing. The best way to control the project is to use a combination of communication methods, hold status meetings because they have worked best for you in the past, refer to the bar chart weekly, meet with management regularly. Answer A is a correct choice. Your communication needs to be correct for the situation. Because situations vary, so must your communication methods. Question 14. Who of the following is always a stakeholder? A person who does not want the project to be completed, an assembly line worker that will use the product of the project, a functional manager from the engineering department, a person who might lose his or her position in the company because of the project. Answer B is a correct choice. A user of the project's product is always a stakeholder, while the others may or may not be. Question 15. You've been assigned to take over managing a project that should be half complete according to the schedule. After an extensive evaluation, you discover the project is running far behind schedule, and the project will probably take twice the time originally estimated by the previous project manager. However, the sponsor has been told the project is on schedule. What is the best course of action? Try to restructure the schedule to meet the project deadline. Report your assessment to the sponsor. Turn the project back to the previous project manager. Move forward with the schedule as planned by the previous project manager and report at the first missed milestone. Answer B is a correct choice. It is not possible to turn the project back to the previous project manager, as the previous project manager may have left the company, or he may be busy with new projects. That is a form of withdrawal. Moving ahead without addressing the situation also withdraws from the problem, and withdrawal is not the best choice. There are two problems described here. The project is behind schedule, and the sponsor does not know it. There seem to be two possible right answers: restructuring the schedule and reporting the situation to the sponsor. You should work to get the project on schedule. Question 16. You are having a very difficult time keeping the project schedule on track. The project is 13 months long and requires 220 people to complete. You have just fixed all the project problems to your satisfaction, but the Schedule Performance Index (SPI) is currently 0.67. The Cost Performance Index (CPI) is 1.26. There are over 23 activities on the critical path, and the project PER duration is 26. In the monthly status report, you should report that the project is doing well, that the project will be late, that the project cost is over budget, the issues and options. Answer D is a correct choice. There are no cost problems illustrated in the question. Reporting that the project is doing well is lying and unethical. Although the project is in trouble, you do not know it will be completed late. There is time to fix the problems. The professional and social responsibility of the project manager requires that the truth be told. As in any report, you need to state the issues and options. Question 17. Communication is key to the success of a project. As the project manager, you had 3 stakeholders with whom you needed to communicate. Therefore, you had 6 channels of communication. A new stakeholder has been added with whom you also need to communicate. How many communication channels do you have now? 7, 10, 12, 16. Answer B is a correct choice. Did you realize the project manager is part of the communication channels? Therefore, there are actually 4 stakeholders to begin with and 6 channels of communication. The question is asking how many total channels of communication you have with a team of 5 people. The formula is n times n minus 1 divided by 2, or 5 times 4 divided by 2 equal 10. Question 18. What is the name of the process required to ensure timely and appropriate generation, collection, dissemination, and disposal of project information? Quality management, communications management, procurement management, scope management. Answer B is a correct choice. This is the definition of communications management. Occasionally, you will find an easy question on the exam. Did it improve your confidence? Question 19. A project manager is in a meeting with the customer when the customer starts to yell about the fact that a change she requested will result in a delay to the project schedule. Interestingly, yelling is not a common practice in the client's culture. The project manager starts to explain why the change affected the schedule when the project manager's boss stops the meeting and carefully removes the project manager from the room. Which of the following would best describe what is going on? There was an inadequate change control system. The project manager did not inform the boss before the meeting. The project manager did not properly interpret the customer's communication. There was an inadequate agenda for the meeting. Answer C is a correct choice. This question has many distractors. There is no indication the agenda was inadequate. The situation does not indicate the boss was not aware of the situation. He could have been aware of the schedule delay and still, based on the situation, done the same thing. Why? The project manager did not correctly interpret the magnitude of the customer's anger and did not correctly receive the communication. The customer was angry and it was a bad communication choice to try to explain why the schedule was delayed. It might be best to withdraw. Question 20. What is a stakeholder register? Assessment and classification information regarding identified stakeholders. A process of systematically gathering and analyzing quantitative and qualitative information to determine whose interests must be taken into account throughout the project. An approach to increase the support and minimize negative impacts of stakeholders. A table that links requirements to project objectives. Answer A is a correct choice. Gathering and analyzing information to determine whose interests must be considered is part of stakeholder identification and analysis. Increasing support and minimizing negative impacts of stakeholders is a part of stakeholder management. Linking requirements to project objectives is included in a requirement traceability matrix. A stakeholder register is a document which includes assessment and classification information related to identified stakeholders.